2. Welcome to this week's edition of the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Ernest E.J. Christian. All right. Alongside, of course, Mike the Squid Bernier. Mike, what's up?
That may be one of your worst intros of me of all time in any podcast I've ever been on with you.
Hello. You want me to start over?
Hello, people. Hello, people.
No way.
I'm here.
That was very Shane McMahon of you. You were just like, no, that was not a good introduction.
That was not a good introduction. I am the best
in the world. And, of course, the real Joe Lopez. Follow him on Twitter. Yeah, right. Burner accounts.
I mean,
yes.
You can try.
Can't find
it. There's nothing that's ever going to get posted on there, but you can try.
You can certainly try.
You know,
I bet you'll find Joe Lopez.
One of my biggest goals of this podcast is that if we were to get big at some point down the road, that somebody will create a faux Joe Lopez account based off the fact that you don't like Twitter. The faux Joe Lopez.
I could live with that.
Lots of high pitches and stuff involved in that.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right, so before we got 3 takes this week, before we get to the takes, let's get to some of the news of the week, of course. First thing here, Tessa Blanchard is wrestling as you speak, right? As we record this? Okay. Well, she was accused of being racist.
Among other things.
Okay.
She was accused of being a bully, basically.
Right.
Well,
among many things, from other people. From many people.
All the above.
Yeah. A lot of, like women that are still very actively wrestling in different places, including even, like, NXT and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of people coming out against her. It's not like it's like a one-person, like, closed off, like, I had a bad incident with her. No, it's like 8 people deep that I've known have come out. So that's one of those where it's like, this may be a little bit deeper than what's being led on to.
Well, let me ask you this, though, quick, though. Is this the first time this happened with her, like, where publicly people accuse her of stuff like this?
This severe, yes, but I mean, it's sort of been a known fact that she's kind of an asshole.
Because at the time, the timing is curious, though, because considering the match tonight.
Right.
She's definitely been known to be a locker room cancer. She is what we like to call the Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham of wrestling locker rooms. Head case.
Well, I don't know. I tend to innocent to prove guilty, in my opinion. But I mean, there's a lot of noise, a lot of smoke. Sometimes there's fire. Just say that. I'll keep it.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with spitting on people. So
that's true.
Whatever.
Marty Scurll to remain with Ring of Honor, and apparently he's going to be in charge of all the booking there. So I guess Scurll to AEW. That's that dead now? You think?
He's not going to do all the booking. He's going to help Delirious Hunter Johnson do booking. Yeah, I would say AEW talk with Marty's out of the picture, but it does seem like they're going to allow him to still do the NWA Power stuff with Nick Aldis.
Okay, Joe, your thoughts?
I mean, it's funny because it kind of has me a little excited about ROH right now, because ROH needs some sort of spark. And look, I have no idea if Marty is any good as a booker. I have no idea how he deals with creative. It's a whole different thing than just being a wrestler. So we'll see. But just the news of it is a spark that kind of has my interest. So that's kind of cool.
Well, right. I think the big thing here is that the fact that him, Flip, and Brody lost the 6-man tag titles on Friday night, and then it got announced late last night, early this morning, whatever you want to call it, that he had reached the agreement to stay with Ring of Honor. I think everybody immediately thought the minute that they lost the 6-man tag titles that he was going.
Yes.
And it just played into the speculation even more. The show last night ended with Nick Aldis doing a run and wearing an NWA Power shirt on a Ring of Honor show. So I think NWA and Ring of Honor may have, I'm not going to say a working agreement, but they may have we'll let you use some of our guys, you can use some of their guys kind of thing. And
that would be pretty beneficial, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so.
All right,
keep an eye on that.
Right. Some sad news in the wrestling world. The legendary La Parka died after was it yesterday or this morning?
I think it was earlier today.
I want to say it was late. It was late last night, early hours. It was announced.
Right, he died.
I saw it.
And it's not, mind you, it's not the WCW La Parka. He's alive and well and eating at someone's catering.
And this is also
standing on chairs.
From what I understand, is related to injuries he sustained in October during a match.
Yes.
Yeah, he tried to attempt a dive through the ropes in a 4-way match. Former Ring of Honor World Champion Roosh was in that match. He tried to dive on him. I don't know if he shortened the dive or if he clipped his leg on the ropes, but he went headfirst into the ringside barrier, and he was never able to recover from said injuries.
Well, sad about lost pressure has him and his family, obviously, and his friends.
Sad.
Very, very sad to hear that. Next newsworthy thing here. Scott Dawson, one half of the Revival, actually put out a peculiar tweet today, saying, "quote Guys, it's time to go away from Twitter for a while until we get everything figured out. See you soon. #FTR." Scott Dawson, of course, is one half of the former SmackDown champion Revival.
Wait a second. Wasn't that the same tweet that one of the Young Bucks put out before they left Twitter?
I think Matt and Nick said that they were straight up leaving Twitter.
I thought that they used that same language. They were like, we need to step back for a while. You might want to look into that, because that could really just... Maybe this has nothing to do with...
Trolling, right? Could be a trolling thing, right?
Yeah, this could be the Revival trolling the Young Bucks, which is a thing they do.
The Revival may not be happy with where they're at now in the tag team division. I don't know.
Well,
just saying.
I'm sure they're not, yeah.
Mike, your thoughts?
I mean, I think at this rate, if it's anything, it's either them playing into people like us that have a podcast to give us something to talk about, of them talking about them going to AEW.
Content.
Which I don't
That's
think
so
they're
Bonnie
going.
Raitt of them.
I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon, personally. Whether they're happy or not is irrelevant. I don't think that there's a chance that Vince is ever going to let them out of a contract, and I think he's going to offer them so much money to stay so that they can't go over there that they'd be dumb to turn it down. So,
and honestly, look at the trend lately. Like, look at someone like Oni Lorcan, who had himself all over social media sounding like he was done with WWE, and then signed a multi-year contract and is going to be in NXT for the next 5 decades, which I'm okay with because he's awesome. But
Oni rules. Oni rules.
Yes, absolutely. But that's a thing that talents are doing now. It seems like they're going to social media and making it seem like I wonder if that's even helping them. Maybe butter the turkey ball a little bit. You know, is that a phrase?
I guess
it is now. It is now.
Right. And finally, according to SoCalUncensored.com, Brian Cage, the former Impact World Champion and Lucha Underground Gift of the Gods Champion, reportedly will be signing with AEW. Yeah. Apparently, there's been no confirmed start date, but they were advised, quote, soon. Who the hell is Brian Cage, guys?
I will say 2 things. Number one, I think he's going to fit really well in AEW, for better or worse, whatever that means. But I think he will fit really well. And number 2, I think it's really badass that he was on the Impact pay-per-view tonight, and an hour later they announced that they signed him. AEW may not be trying to go to war with Impact, but those are some shots fired. That's some let's go in and kill their general stuff, you know?
He had a match against Rob Van Dam, got jumped in the walkway, and ended up not wrestling at all. They took him out, so I feel like that's how they get him out of here. Cage is expected to start sometime soon. He is
RVD
Mr.
still wrestling?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Brian Cage, a.k.a. Mr. GMSI. Get my shit in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know what it meant.
He'll kill it in PW. He'll kill it with those guys because he killed it in PWG. And also, breaking news. It won't be breaking news by the time you guys hear this. Tessa Blanchard is now the Impact Wrestling World Champion.
Wow. Who do you think she had to spit on to get that title?
Everybody.
Yep.
And my days working hard on the
go.
All right.
And we're good. That's the news this week on the Takes 3 Wrestling Podcast. All right, we got 3 takes to bring you to the guys this week. Who wanted to go first? I think, Joe, do you want to go first, or was it? You want to go last?
Yeah, I think I should go first.
Lopez Joseph.
Yes.
What you got to bring up?
Well, see, it's a good bring-in because we just talked about a woman
exactly
winning a world title.
Women.
That's see,
ladies.
You're getting
Segue.
good at these segues.
Hello, ladies.
Segue.
You're like a monkey on a Segway. Speaking of segues, so anyway,
Segway.
I had a couple of different ideas for topics this week, and what I ended up landing on, because I feel kind of passionately about it, is the AEW women's title match from this past Wednesday's Dynamite. Now, if you've been listening to our show, and you have, you know that I really am a big fan of the women's division in AEW. I may be one of 10 people who are really admittedly big fans of the women's division of AEW. I don't do closets anymore. I just admit things. So
Correct.
I can admit that
That's
I
great.
am a big fan of that division. And that is why I am so upset by the way things went on Wednesday night during that title match. There was so much incredibly wrong with it, starting with the fact that Chris Statlander had been built up for weeks now as a real potential face for the women's division, because the current face is, 9 weeks out of 10 in Japan. So we don't even see her on TV. Yeah, for a while, I thought that the number one contender was the champion. But, you finally, you build up a girl, you build up a woman who would make sense to take the title and be the face of the division. And instead of letting it happen, instead of letting it just go naturally, you end up literally kind of killing her push. You end up making her look like an idiot. You may end up making the champion look like an idiot, all for the sake of getting over this Nightmare Collective angle that I think everyone who has seen it knows is complete and utter shit.
Trash.
The only way that it could be shittier is if fucking Cody just pulled his trunks down and took a shit in the middle of the ring.
Trash.
It is hot garbage. It's hot garbage on a July day in Manhattan while de Blasio is mayor, and that's not getting picked up. It's so bad.
I love how you
And
brought
the
the
thing
politics
is-
in, but I love it. Good job, Joe.
The thing is, it's all a vanity project for Brandy is what it feels like. And I have a lot of respect for her behind the scenes and stuff. But I'm just saying, look, I don't know anything about booking wrestling. I've never done it. I'm not pretending to be someone like that. I'm speaking as a fan, as someone who really enjoys most of the talents that are in that women's division. It was extremely disheartening to see that entire women's division basically go to crap for the sake of a really bad angle, who the middle of the angle is one of the VPs of the company. It's ridiculous. And don't get me started on them involving Sonny Kiss. I want to stop talking right this second so you guys can react, but I may rant on that after.
All right. Number one, first off, the fact that I thought you were going to tell me that AEW was building Chris Statlander up to, you said build. I thought you were going to say build her up to an alien. I really thought that's where you were going with that for a minute. I was really hyped, and then you crushed me. So that kind of sucked.
Apologize.
Second off, that match was trash.
Yes.
It was a mess.
Gimmick, the Nightmare Collective is trash. They are turning the women's division of AEW into trash. You have your number 3 and number 4 people in your rankings sitting in the crowd, and Britt Baker looks like she just ate a shit sandwich. Her facial expressions were trash.
The best part of that whole segment was her doing nothing.
Yes, like
That's saying a lot.
the fact that the best part was when she stood up, saw everybody fighting, was just like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit back down in this chair." The fact that that's the best thing out of an entire gimmick for an entire segment to a segment and a half of a television show that's trying to win the ratings war, which, by the way, any of you 900,000 people that watched that show and beat NXT, please tell me why, because that whole show was hot trash.
We had a discussion on group text about the show. And I thought the show was average at best, and that's stretching it. I didn't think it was as bad as you guys said it was, but it was definitely in comparison to the first show of the year, of the new year, it was a complete letdown. I agree 100%.
It was really bad.
Yeah. Now, I expressed the same situation, my disbelief about the situation in the ring with the match and all that on Twitter. And some at Mark Red Believer replied to me saying, basically, this is their attempt to get the babyfaces over. And I said, maybe, but Rio, even with the recent complaints of lack of TV time, she's already over, and Statlander is already getting good buzz. So why would you fuck it up with some stupid angle?
Right.
It's not even interesting.
No, exactly. It's bad, and even the audience is booing it in a way where it's not getting like, oh, this is really good heat. It's getting, oh my god, why are you doing this to me heat?
Nightmare Collective is getting X-Pac heat.
Yes.
Go away.
It's like, it might as well be called Nightmare Collective heat at this point, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, so, honestly, I talked to Joe about this because of what you told me in the group chat, Ernest, about how I'm rooting for NXT to win. I'm not rooting for NXT to win as much as you're rooting for AEW to win. Because at the end of the day, here's the situation. AEW got you back into wrestling more than WWE has, so you're always going to have a soft spot in your heart for them. So at the end of the day, that episode on Wednesday night was trash.
No, I agree with him.
If they don't rebound in the next 2 weeks leading into this pay-per-view, yeah, they'll get the marks and they'll get the people that don't want to watch WWE to support them. But if they don't fix the problem, it's just going to keep being trash.
No, I can admit, but Mike, and you're right. I think there's something to be said. Now, here's the thing. AEW kind of got me back into it, but remember, I didn't watch any of the AEW pay-per-views until after they went to television because I just didn't have a chance to really. I told you over the summer that it was hard for me to get behind a company that didn't have any storylines from month to month.
They still don't.
TV, and it's kind of yeah. You have a point there to some degree. So I did watch WWE, from June till October when AEW started. So I'm still a WWE watcher. That's not going to change. I'm rooting for the little guy, of course. I want wrestling to be big in its totality. I don't want Vince to have the entire fucking pie. I want AEW to have a little bit of the pie, and Impact part of the pie, and New Japan have part of the pie. I want everybody. I want wrestling to win as a whole.
I think New Japan has more of the pie than you're giving New Japan credit for.
Well, I don't watch New Japan like you guys do. I just know about it.
I'm just saying they got it like the entire Western Seaboard that watches them. So
right.
So if you're a little bit of
my thing though, just right now is when it comes to that AEW women's division, I really do think they have a lot of talent there, like raw talent. Like I know you guys joke around about it, but I like Big Swole. I actually think that she's talented. I think that.
Give me a different name. Give me a different name, I'm
with you, Mike, on that one. 100% on that one. Which you said.
I get that,
Joe. You know what sucks though about this one thing else though is that just last week I was praising the shit out of the women's division last week.
Yes,
how well they did. Rio's back.
Yes,
Shirai and all that.
That match was great.
And then they get this bullshit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's really just. And honestly, how much time do I have, Mike?
7 minutes.
Good job.
Okay,
Go
cool.
ahead,
I can bring up the Sonny Kiss thing. Sonny Kiss is a wrestler, obviously, who's known for being flamboyant. He's an openly gay man, and his character is very flamboyant, which is really awesome. I am a fellow openly gay man. I'm not flamboyant. I wear hoodies and jeans all the time.
That's why.
Yes, no. Like my closet looks like I still go to college, and that's both sad because I'm 36 and because I'm gay. It's just there's so many problems with this. But anyway, so it was exciting seeing Sonny Kiss get signed. And since they signed him, they've literally not done anything with him. He has not been featured in almost any capacity. And the first time you finally have him featured on Dynamite in a substantial way, he's backing up the women's division. That there's something about that just doesn't sit comfortably with me, and I'm not offended. I'm not someone that gets offended by shit. I just think that if this is really what you were going to do with this person, then why the fuck did you even sign him? Why do that? I mean, he's got character, he's got personality, and I think that's part of the problem too with AEW in general. There's not a lot of characters being built right now. There's not a lot of personalities being shown.
You mean overall or just the division?
Overall. I mean, the women's division...
I mean, obviously... Well, I mean, the top of the... I'll say this much. You're correct about the mid cards and below. Top of the card is top of the card. They're doing phenomenal. The Moxley Jericho thing is great. I love what they did this week. That was highlight the whole fucking show.
Yeah.
But, and of course Cody and MJF, down the line. But you're right. The mid carders are all of a sudden Pac. Pac has to matter more. He used to matter in October and November. Now it's time,
exactly.
I agree with him on that one.
Honestly, it makes me really kind of annoyed that they're doing Sammy Guevara versus Jon Moxley next week. Because it's been kind of fun seeing Sammy Guevara go 2-0 and have this little streak going. He's not beating Moxley next week. There's zero.
One thing I will say though, I do love the fact that Dustin Rhodes is back on TV a lot now. I love it.
Yes,
he's great.
Yeah,
he looks great, man. I keep saying it every week, but it's true. He looks great in the ring. He looks great.
I'm not a big fan of the fact that 1 week after facing each other for the women's title, Rio and Chris Statlander are teaming up to face the Nightmare Collective on Wednesday night.
But you know it's obvious that was going to happen. You knew that. It played out.
Yeah. And you know what's going to happen the entire time I'm in Miami on Wednesday night? I'm going to boo that entire match. Because the women's division is trash.
But
I'm so mad I can't make it because Rio's going to be there. I'm so mad.
No, the women's division doesn't need to be trash. It can be really good.
What I was going to say before, actually, in terms of like the lacking characters, I think Britt Baker is a perfect example, though, of lacking characters. This is someone who, when the company first started, we were almost positioned in a way where we were told, like, hey, this is going to be like the face of the women's division.
That's Becky Lynch. She's the Becky Lynch of the AEW, pretty much.
Right, except that she loses all the time.
She was the first female signed to the roster. It was announced a year ago last week in Jacksonville.
Now, on top of losing all the time and clearly not being the face of the company, and if you don't know her and you're starting watching AEW from scratch, like she sits in the audience. And my brother and I were texting while we were watching AEW on Wednesday night, and this is like, I wanted to sum this up because this sums up what I'm saying about Brittany Baker. They show her in the audience, and my brother texts me and is like, "Did you know Brittany Baker's a dentist?" And my response was, "Is that what she does when she's not dating Adam Cole?" Those are the only two things we know about her. That's it.
Oh, and that she's from Pittsburgh.
Three things does not a character make.
No. Okay, so I want to do this real quick because we have 3 minutes left on this topic. I'm going to go over the career records in AEW of every woman on the roster, and you tell me what your thought process is, okay?
Sure.
So I'm going to rapid fire it, and then we'll talk.
Sure.
Allie is 3-2. Awesome Kong is 3-1. She's 1-0 in 2020. Bea Priestley is 2-4 for her career. Big Swole is 1-4. Brandy Rhodes is 1-0. Britt Baker is 7-5. She's 0-1 in 2020. Emi Sakura is 3-4. Hiroki Shida is 4-4. She's 0-1 in 2020. Statlander's Statlander's 3 wins, 3 losses. She's 0-1. Leva Bates is 1-4. Nyla Rose is 4-4. Penelope Ford is 0-2. Rio is 10-2, 2-0 in 2020. Sadie Gibbs is 1-1. Shauna's 1-2, and Yuka Sakukaze is 0-2.
Can we just do away with the fucking records now, please?
No,
seriously.
No, they want it to be a thing.
Well,
okay, but here's the thing. We talked about it.
I think he's saying AEW needs to get rid of them.
Okay, but we talked about this off air.
Yeah,
the 3 of us. That was something that could be different. Where if done right, it could matter.
And it's not done right.
That's the problem. If you're gonna do it, stick to it. Don't half-ass it.
What did I tell? What did Joe and I say a couple weeks ago on the pod when we first started this podcast? That the problem with the records is it puts you in the fucking corner.
It does.
Of course it does.
And that's why you end up getting these records now where everyone is basically on an even playing field. So nobody feels important. Nobody matters. Nyla Rose should be the fucking beast of that division.
And
she should have like
she's
an
500.
8-0 record, not 4-4.
She's basically mediocre. I mean, like, seriously, come on.
Yeah. When you look at it, there are 3 people with records over 500, I think, in the entire women's division for their career. It's Rio. It's Awesome Kong. It's the 1-0 Brandy Rhodes. Let's look at it from this standpoint. Maybe, and we talked about this off air, and I want to bring it up in the last minute, the Young Bucks are the guys that are helping book the tag division. Cody and Jericho are really the guys driving force behind the upper part of the card. And supposedly, the VP, Brandy, the chief branding officer, is helping the women's division. Well, maybe Brandy should hand the keys over to that car to a guy named Dean Malenko or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And let someone who knows what the hell they're doing book this thing so they don't book themselves into a corner, which they've already done.
I just want to say, because I'm sure we're about to run out of time, like, again, and the reason why I'm so angry about this and so passionate, and I don't usually rant like this obviously, is because I'm a big fan of the division. I'm a big fan of the women in it. I think that they have so much potential, and it's especially frustrating when you know that that's a thing. And as a fan, it's like watching your favorite TV show and seeing your favorite character and like the worst storyline. You know, like eventually you kind of don't really want to watch that show anymore, or at least you're going to like go on a podcast and complain about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the women's division has every opportunity to succeed.
The
problem is it can't succeed whenever you have half-ass booking in charge.
The problems are fixable. That's the thing. The problems are fixable. It's that simple. So
if they fix it.
Yeah.
Is it time off?
Yeah, it just went off.
Okay. So that's out the way. All right. Mike, want to go next? Or me?
Save mine for last because mine might run a little longer than 15 minutes.
Okay, mine's gonna be more a little off the beaten path here, and it's more so personal. But it's something I talk about a lot on social media with other wrestling, personalities or podcasters or fans, or maybe. It's balancing watching wrestling content. Now, some of us are, some people are, watch like you guys. You guys go beyond what I do. You guys watch everything. New Japan and Impact, all that. I watch mainly AEW and WWE, and then even that has been hard for me to keep up with. Like, obviously, if you are I would say, let's put it this way: if you are a wrestling fan that's quote unquote casual, you're pretty much watching either AEW and then watching at least Raw and SmackDown, possibly NXT. So that alone, every week, if you watch its entirety, is 9 hours of wrestling content alone. Not including pay-per-views, not including AEW Dark, and not including any other extra shit they put on there. Okay,
Yeah.
And then you have all the other stuff, NWA Power, and Impact, and Ring of Honor, all that stuff.
MLW. Yeah.
MLW, right. So, I'm just curious with you guys. How do you guys balance watching wrestling content? Because for me, I've come into this... This is so new for me personally, come back to wrestling after 17 years, is that it was easy, even back in the 90s, it was easy to follow because you had one show. Okay, you had Raw, and you had Nitro. Okay, and then they added Thunder, and they added SmackDown in late 98, and 99, of course. Yet it was so easy because, it is either you watch or you taped, and that was it. All of a sudden now, I thought I'd be able to handle it now, but ever since AEW Dynamite came on in October, and I finally invested more time in NXT, I've had a hard time the last 2 months watching Raw and SmackDown. To the point now where, I had this conversation with my buddy Jim, who runs the 3 Count Thursday podcast. Shout out to Jim, of course, Big Jim. When he's on my podcast a couple weeks back, and I asked him, do you try to catch up to Raw, SmackDown, you fall behind? He goes, no, you just let it run. If you fall behind, then just fuck it. Cut losses short. So I've had a hard time keeping up with Raw and SmackDown. Like, I prioritize AEW and NXT before Raw and SmackDown now.
Right.
Like my Wednesday watching is number one priority, and then if I can get to Raw and SmackDown, I'll get to Raw and SmackDown. How do you guys balance your wrestling content and how you watch it?
So, okay, you care if I take this first, Mike?
Take the floor.
Okay. So, a couple of things I want to say. Number one, I feel like wrestling fans, more than any other anything, have this, like, natural completist mentality that it's really weird, Like, wrestling fans are the people that, like, if you tell them, hey, you should watch WWE NXT, it's really good, they'll be like, okay, awesome. And instead of starting on Wednesday night's new episode, they'll be like, I'm going to start watching from episode 1 from 2012 on the WWE network. It's this really weird phenomenon, and I've never quite understood it, but I'm also guilty of it. I do it myself. And one of the things that I think has helped me over the years is I've tried to let go of that. Like, especially with, like, Raw and SmackDown, and even AEW and NXT to a certain degree, but less so them. If I can't watch the show live, or if I can't watch it during the week that it happens, I kind of just let it go. I kind of just move forward, and, like, if I can't watch, if I DVR'd, like, I actually have SmackDown from this past Friday on my TV right now. Sheamus is looking scary. I think he goes to the same light guy as Bray Wyatt. But anyway, so if I recorded this on Friday, if I couldn't watch this by basically tomorrow, then I probably was not going to end up watching it. I probably was just going to have to figure out storylines based on watching next week, or, on social media, they put a whole bunch of, like, kind of recap videos and stuff that I think are very beneficial. I think it comes down to you have to let go of the idea of you're going to catch everything, and you kind of have to prioritize things then. Like, I really like New Japan. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched any New Japan since last summer after the G1 ended. Watching Wrestle Kingdom these last couple of days are the first time that I've actually seen some actually, like, up-to-date current New Japan. And it was a lot for me to make time to get through those shows, because unfortunately I wanted to watch them live, but unfortunately I was on my way to Chicago at the time on a train. Kids, don't do that. and I was unable to get enough of a signal to watch the shows, so that didn't happen. And unfortunately, in that situation, because I did want to watch them, it put me behind not even just like one wrestling show. It put me behind an entire week of wrestling shows because now I needed to catch up to the point where, because we know that, because Mike said that his topic tonight, like that's going to be his topic tonight, talking about the shows, and I wanted to watch them so that I could, be involved in the conversation and not get spoiled on the results. I forwent. I don't know. I didn't watch the NFL games today so that I could finish
NFL
watching
playoff games. In fact,
yeah, and I'm a big football fan. I don't feel like I missed anything, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the Titans were yesterday, and that was the real story. But I would have right. I would have been watching those games today, but I needed to get through the rest of night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom so that we could talk about it on this podcast. If we weren't talking about it tonight, I probably wouldn't get through it until probably like Wednesday or Thursday this week. So I had to make time today, and it's a crazy phenomenon because there's so much wrestling, but there's also so much baseball and so much football and so much basketball, and you pick and choose what you watch as opposed to trying to watch it all. And that's something that wrestling fans don't seem to be able to grasp. A lot of them just try to watch it all and get they get burnt out. I think it's half the reason why everyone's so crabby and doesn't enjoy it half the time.
Good point. Mikey.
See, my thing is, with the exception of G1, I think I've watched 2 New Japan shows in its entirety since then. And I think those were the end of long runs, like the build to the road to secure a Genesis or whatever. Well, those, the ones that have it's the final show. I've watched those. When it comes to AEW and WWE, I don't watch Raw or SmackDown really, unless there's something that I know I have to watch. I watch NXT. I watch AEW. I make time for those. But I think the other thing is, especially at this time frame, I have a lot more downtime than some do because I'm not as invested in basketball as Ernest is. Yes, I will watch Caps games when they're on TV, but I don't have the NHL package.
That's a great point.
To watch every Washington Capital game. If I did, I probably would be wrapped up more in the Caps hockey season because they're the number 2 team in the NHL. Mm-hmm. But when baseball starts, I make it a thing where if I'm home at 7 o'clock, I'm watching every Red Sox game that I can watch, no matter if they're 60 and 100 or they're 102 and 60. It doesn't matter. I'll watch every Sox game I can, and I have a lot of times where I get home at 10 or 11 o'clock, and the Angels are starting, and I get to watch Mike Trout for 4 hours, and that takes up my time more than a random New Japan or WWE show that I missed. I'd rather spend that 4 hours watching arguably the greatest baseball player of the decade and of my generation over a Raw show that I read on Twitter 3 days ago that was hot trash.
I actually, real quick, I can actually relate to you, Mike, on that one because look at the timing was when I got back to wrestling this year, last year.
Summer, there's nothing going on.
I love baseball. I love baseball, but it's a kind of sport for me that I don't have to be invested every single fucking day. You know what I'm saying? I can literally look at the box score for the Mets. Okay, cool. That's why I got into wrestling. I had time. Basketball ended pretty early this year. I was able to watch wrestling all summer long. Once football came back and college football came back and the NBA came back in October, it got a little challenging. I still was able to prioritize what I wanted to watch, but what got hurt was Raw and SmackDown. Now, I will say this, guys. I know you guys probably seen this before on Instagram and on Facebook. One thing that has helped me a little bit with Raw and SmackDown is WWE on Fox started this thing in October called Raw in 3 minutes, SmackDown in 3 minutes, and they give you basically all the biggest highlights of the show, of the episode. So I've been watching that. If I know I'm behind on Raw and SmackDown, I can commit 3 minutes to Raw recap, and
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that helps a little bit too for me.
So I think what's funny is 2 things. First of all, WWE's actually been doing that for a while.
Okay.
They used to do even a shorter version. I don't know if they still do, shorter than like 3 minutes, where it'd be like a top 10 moments from Raw and a top 10 moments from SmackDown.
Right.
And honestly, because of the way it was formatted, you basically got the main storylines, and they would show you like 30-second clip worth of like, oh, Roman Reigns getting the win over Elias or something. It actually was it came in handy a lot. And yeah, same thing. Like if I missed the show, if I missed Raw that week, I'd watch that and get caught up. I think part of the interesting thing too is wrestling is one of those things that, at least for me, and Mike, you might agree especially, like unless it's Raw or SmackDown, I can't really have it on as just like a background noise thing. Like I need to like sit down and actually watch the wrestling and pay attention and be like, like, oh, was this a good match? I got to like really like get into it and see. Like that was honestly half the challenge of Wrestle Kingdom today. It's like I had it on, but I couldn't just have it on and then like clean my apartment. Like I had it on and I like sat and watched it and really like got into it, which is, it's great to do that. But honestly, like you can throw on a Yankees game and then go about your day, or a basketball game or something. Like you don't need to pay like the world's closest attention to that. But I feel like a lot of wrestling, especially if you're watching New Japan or if you're watching like even AEW and NXT, like there's a reason, like I said earlier, after I finished Wrestle Kingdom, I was going to put on something else and I didn't have the energy to watch NXT because I knew that I needed to pay attention to NXT. So I put on SmackDown instead, and SmackDown is still on. And honestly, I can do a podcast and pay half attention to SmackDown and really be caught up and know that I didn't miss any awesome wrestling. So,
I will say,
I think that's part of it.
I currently have awesome wrestling muted on my TV. I'm watching the Takeover show from the UK today.
Oh,
nice.
Well, I saw Undisputed Era came out on that. I saw that.
Spoiler alert, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I saw that angle, but I know Joe didn't. I mean,
right.
Spoiler alert for him.
I only saw because Fox put it out on the website today.
I saw it online too.
It makes sense though because they're facing off with Imperium at Worlds Collide the night before Royal Rumble.
But people,
it makes perfect sense.
This is what the ratings. How much time we got left, Mike, on this topic?
3 minutes.
Okay, this is where the ratings. and by the way, I'm not trying to sound hypocrite here because I actually love following the ratings. It's fun. This is where the ratings come overrated too. And this is what WWE has to correct also as a company. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, those are ratings also. So people are bitching about how they can't stand the Lana, Bobby Lashley angle with Rusev. And yet, on those actual segments on YouTube, those numbers are record-breaking phenomenal. They're big.
Right.
So, if you're saying one thing, but people are still watching it on YouTube, Vince and creative are saying, everybody's saying this on Twitter, but yet the numbers say otherwise. But my point is, though, that matters too. Ratings also on social media matter too. That's why I think we have to learn to embrace the fact. Okay, that's why I don't feel bad now watching the 3-minute recaps now because you know what? If I'm not watching Raw, at least I'm watching this.
Yeah, this is one of those places where wrestling, like, the nature of it being so many different things, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's an entertainment show, so like you wouldn't watch a 3-minute recap of what happened on Empire on Facebook. Like you'd probably want to watch the whole episode, or you wouldn't be like, okay, well, like I'm an Empire fan because I watch these 3-minute recaps. But like you would watch like the awesome pass that Aaron Rodgers I was gonna say sent out. Wow. But like the awesome pass that he threw, you'd watch like that clip on Facebook. And that's where like the sport aspect comes in, and wrestling, you can get away with that with wrestling. You can get away with like, here's how the main event ended, and like here's 30 seconds worth, and be like, oh, okay.
One thing about wrestling, one thing about WWE, especially WWE, I have to give Vince and the guys credit for this one. They know how to adapt.
Yes,
adapt or die, and
they do for years. They honestly they were kind of leading edge when it came to like social media for. Yeah. A company like theirs, in any industry.
AEW on social media. Like AEW is decent social media, but WWE's social media is fucking A++.
But something like WWE's social media compares to, I think, just any entertainment brand. Like that's how good they are. Mm-hmm. It goes beyond just wrestling. Yeah.
All right, so we have a minute left. I want to get this point across, and then you guys can finish it up. Anybody that's a wrestling fan that has to understand, if you look at the ratings from Wednesday night, AEW had 900,000. NXT had like 700,000. You know what that means, people? That means there was 1.6 million people watching wrestling on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, whether you're watching AEW first or NXT first, or whatever like that, cool. At the end of the day, you know who the ratings matter to? the fans so that they can argue why that company's better. I don't think Vince gives a crap about it. I don't think Cody and the guys give a crap about it. They're putting out the content that they want to put out, and to the fan sitting in Beaufunk, Alabama, that's all AEW and wants to be an AEW fan, awesome. But just because you guys, and I'm going to use the word you guys, no, you're not a part of them as much as you want to claim that you are. As much as, like, that's a thing, like, at the end of the day, they're happy with the content that they are putting out. Everybody's happy with the fact that 1.6 million people are watching wrestling on a Wednesday night.
Wrestling wins always.
Yeah, I think the ratings only matter when, like, the executives at USA come calling and are upset. Otherwise,
and I don't even think they're gonna be upset because, I mean, they're the ones that went to Vince and said, "Hey, we want NXT on." Yep. I mean, they went to them. I mean, they already had 5 hours of wrestling, and they got 2 more hours from them.
They're the ones that wanted the third hour Raw in the first place.
Yep,
not Vince.
They're clearly happy.
Yeah, if they weren't happy, trust me, we would have known about it a long time ago.
It's their cash cow, bud.
Exactly.
It's their cash cow.
Yeah. And that's the timer.
Alrighty. All right, so Mike, bring us home. But
I have the final segment of this episode of the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It is one that I told you guys I was going to talk about on next week's show, and we're going to talk about it. It is Wrestle Kingdom 14. It happened last week in Tokyo, at the Tokyo Dome, 2 nights. I'm going to run through the results of night 1, and then I know Joe watched it. I know Ernest didn't, so me and Joe will probably have some talks. I'll run through the results, and we'll go back to some matches, and then we'll do the same for night 2. And then I want to announce the card for New Beginning in Osaka, because that's been formally announced. That's got some fun stuff on it, which we can maybe talk about a little bit.
Before we get started, I'm going to step away for a few minutes, okay?
Okay, bye.
Okay.
All right, dark match featured Shimmer, Stardom, which I believe was just purchased by.
Yeah, a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
The company that also owns New Japan, not
Yeah. Bushi Road.
It's like
or whatever
a trading
it is, right?
card company. Yeah.
It's like Bushi Road or something. I think is the name of it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
anyway.
So Maiwu Iwatani and Arisa Hokuhika versus over Hana Kimura and Giulia. I don't know anything about Stardom. The match went 9 minutes. I don't know. They didn't show it on anything. So if you were in Tokyo Dome, please let us know how that was. Random thumbs up like Orange Cassidy. Pre-show, there was 2 matches. Tohu Henry, Carl Fredericks, Clark Connors, and Alex Coughlin. They defeated the Great Bash heel of Togi Matagabe and Tamaku Honoma. They also beat 2 young lions whose names I'm not even going to try to pronounce because that's just whoa. Last pre-show match, Tenkoji defeated Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakashiya. Did you watch any of the pre-show or no?
I watched the Tenkoji match because Tenkoji my boys.
That was a good match for it only being 5.5 minutes.
And you know what's funny? It's one of those things where, like, those are a bunch of legends. Seeing them in the Tokyo Dome is still always going to be cool.
Yeah,
but they
didn't need to be Nagata.
Right, but they didn't need to be on, like, the main show. They didn't need to be taking up a spot that, like, the younger guys could take up. You know, it's maybe a lesson that WWE can learn. I'm just saying. Yeah,
talking about taking away from the young guys. First match of the night, it was Naoki Sano, Shirahige Otani, Tatsuto Takawai, and Ryusuke Taguchi. They defeated Jushin Thunder Liger, Tatsuji Fujiyama, the Fujiyama armbar, that guy. Bringing that guy back. The Great Sasuke, and Tiger Mask. I love the fact that every person, their entrance video had something to do with Liger.
That was awesome, yes.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that some of them came out with, like, the Liger mask as, like, attached to their mask. Big fan of that. Not a fan that Liger lost, but I get it. Liger doing Liger things.
Yeah.
5th match on the card. Second match of the main show. Suzuki Gun. They call it Goon over there. I don't know. It's Suzuki Gun. It's like it is what it is. Zack Sabre Jr., the Rev Pro British Junior Heavyweight Champion. Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and El Desperado. Yeah, they defeated Los Increíbles de Japón, Sanada, Evil, Shingo Tagaki, and Bushi. Sabre via submission.
I always personally kind of wonder when El Desperado is going to come to his senses because he's been out riding fences for so long.
I get it, dude. I mean, I'm waiting for it. I'm right there with you. Third match of the main card, Chaos faction of Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi over the Bullet Club of Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owen.
I enjoyed that one, and I'm glad that Yoshihashi finally has really good tights.
Yeah, because he was definitely floundering in the tights game for a while.
Yeah, no, I mean, the back of his ass literally said loose explosion. Like, he was never going anywhere with that.
He's out, man. Loose explosions are out.
Yep.
The first of the next 5 matches, the title run of night number 1 for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. The winner of the World Tag League, Finn Juice, or as me and Joe are going to call him, Finn and Juice.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you should call them.
Because come on.
Juice, yeah. Laid back with my mind on my money and my titles on my mind.
There we go.
Juice Robinson, David Finlay, they defeated the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. They had Yato with them. I enjoyed this match more than I thought I would.
Same.
I like the Guerrillas of Destiny. I feel like their style works with very few teams in New Japan. Because there aren't a lot of teams in New Japan, so it kind of makes sense on why it doesn't really mesh well. Because there aren't a lot of teams. But those guys and Juice and Finlay really worked well together. That match got 13 minutes. I thought the timing was probably right where it needed to be. Anything too much longer than that, and I feel like we would have ran into this went too long.
Yes. No, I agree. I agree pretty much with everything you said. I really enjoyed that match more than I expected to. I really dig Dave Finlay's new look since the last time I saw him. And Finn and Juice is an awesome tag team. They work really well together, and honestly, like, I'm excited. Like, if we get to see them versus like Evil and Sonata, that's going to be a great match. Like, I don't know who they fought in World Tag League. I didn't watch that. Maybe it's worth me going back and watching it, but I'm excited. That was a really good match.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I hope they keep the titles for a little while. I'd like to see some fresh blood have those titles for a little while. IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match. The former champion who never lost the title regains the title. John Moxley over Lance Archer via knockout in a Texas death match. No disqualification, no pinfall. Victory via 10 count knockout or submission. 14 minutes and 26 seconds. He calls it the paradigm shift in AEW. They call it the Death Rider in New Japan. Moxley hits the elevated double arm DDT through 2 tables. Yeah. Puts Archer through 2 tables. Archer does not get there by the 10 count. For those of you that don't know, Moxley never lost his title. He was not able to get over there for a show due to, I want to say it was a tsunami.
So yeah,
I want to say it was a tsunami.
There we go.
And unfortunately, New Japan has it in their bylaws that if a champion does not get to the show to defend their title, it's automatically taken from them. It's automatically vacated. The show that he was supposed to defend the title, they had a match between Lance Archer and Juice Robinson. Archer got the win. Archer got the title. Moxley gets it back in Tokyo Dome in the Texas Death Match. I feel like they kind of maybe booked themselves into a corner here, and we're going to get to that in the thought process because it meant there was 2 IWGP United States title matches in the Tokyo Dome.
Which was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary, especially because Juice Robinson just won the title.
Yes.
The IWGP tag titles. And the fact that you're building this up to be one of the guys who's going to leave with both titles. What would have happened if Juice Robinson was the first 2-time champ? Like, he was half of the IWGP heavyweight tag champions and then won the IWGP United States title an hour and a half or 2 before. Like, it would have spoiled their whole gimmick. Like, it would have literally killed their whole gimmick for this entire show. So I digress on that.
I will say I did enjoy the match, again, more than I expected to. Lance Archer as
a single is actually really good.
Yeah, like, since the G1, like, he's been, like, on fire. And honestly, this match was exactly what it needed to be. And it was perfect, honestly, for what it was. And if you have any young children and you go back and watch the show, please make sure they leave the room before this match, because if they don't, there's a lot of F-bombs in, like, the first, 3 minutes. Yeah.
There's no getting that back.
No.
In the match of night number 1 for myself, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Hiromu Takahashi over Will Ospreay to regain the title that he never lost. Hiromu goes out with a devastating injury, crushed his vertebrae in his neck, basically. Out for a really long time. what was it? Probably almost a little over a year.
Yeah.
Before he made an official return in ring. Haramu gets the win over Ospreay, 24 minutes, 33 seconds. This match had it all, from Haramu hitting the time bomb out of nowhere to coming up with a new move to beat Ospreay. Ospreay flipped and dove, and the spot where I think he broke his heel was the spot where he dove to the outside and Hiromu moved, and he ended up the ramp, and then Hiromu threw him back in the ring, and then he hit the dive.
Right.
Like early in the match. I want to say it was like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm with you, though. This is my favorite match from night one. I thought this was epic. Probably one of the best junior heavyweight matches that I've seen out of Wrestle Kingdom. This was up there.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the junior heavyweight matches up until last year were kind of like four ways, or like you knew that something weird was going to happen during the match.
Yeah.
This one, I mean, I think a lot of people thought Haramu was going to get the win to get the title belt back to him, especially because of the story. But I mean, it's just one of those things where those guys still went out and put together a good 25-minute match. It had everything that it needed. It had the near falls that you would have expected. And those guys really, I'm not going to lie to you, they kicked the shit out of each other.
Yes.
So, big fan of that. Haramu gets the win as the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Now, the next two matches are for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship and the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. The winner of these two matches face each other for the end of the Double Gold Dash in night 2. The losers take each other on in basically a consolation match. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. First up, IWGP Intercontinental Championship, Tetsuya Naito over Jay White, who was the IC champion. He had Guido in his corner. 33 minutes, 54 seconds. Naito books his ticket to the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. Big backstory here for Naito. His main event, or his world title match at a Wrestle Kingdom previously, got voted into the co-main event, or as they call it, the semifinals, because the Hiroshi Tanahashi Intercontinental title match against, I think it was Shinsuke, actually.
Yes.
Got voted into the main event, which then brought Naito I'm not good enough for you, so that led to Naito going heel.
Right.
And starting Los Increíbles de Japón. This match was good. Jay White is finally starting to come into his own. I told you before this that this was the chance for Jay White to either sink or swim in New Japan. If he came out and had a good weekend, he could come out of this looking okay. If he came out and had a bad weekend out of this may be where, okay, maybe we need to move Jay White aside and we need to go get a new leader for Bullet Club and things start to change.
Right.
Through night one, and I'm not going to spoil night two, through night one, Jay White put himself into a spot where, yes, he lost the match, but he put himself into a good spot to have a good night two and build himself up.
I agree completely. I think I like this match even more than you did. And it's funny because neither Naito nor Jay White have been my favorite guys to watch in New Japan for a long time. I think I've even mentioned it on the show before. But that match was awesome. They both put everything they could into it. And yeah, you're right. I think after that weekend, I think both guys have become much bigger stars in the New Japan stratosphere, which was very, very necessary right now. Jay White finally looks like he belongs in the role that they've been casting him in for over a year now.
If this Jay White is if they built this Jay White to be the guy that took the IWGP title off of Omega, I would have been happier with that than the Jay White that took the belt off of Omega.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, I agree completely.
Okay.
He needed more time to be built back then. They rushed that, and it almost kind of killed any semblance of him getting to where he finally is getting.
Yeah,
his next title reign will be a lot more interesting.
That I agree with. Main event of night number 1, 39 minutes and 16 seconds. The winner of the G1 Climax, Kota Ibushi, against the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada. Okada gets the win. Yeah, these two guys beat the ever-loving piss out of each other. I don't know how either one of these guys made it to their night 2 matches.
Yeah, seriously.
Those guys got like destroyed. Okada avoids this Phoenix Splash, hits the Rainmaker. Ibushi hits the Kenny Omega V trigger. Omega is able to kick out of that, hits a Tombstone, hits a nasty Rainmaker that drops Ibushi. That ends Kota's chance of walking out of night 1 as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Now, what I'll say with that, if that was the case, this is probably the best case scenario for Kota Ibushi because I don't think he was ever going to walk out of both nights as the champion. I told you that.
Yeah. So
if he loses night 1, at least you have a chance to save him night 2 and at New Year's Dash so he doesn't free fall.
Yes, yeah.
So I think it made sense, and it gets us to the match that everybody, I think, thought they wanted to be the main event of night number 2, which was Naito versus Okada.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on the show before. If it's not Naito and Okada, give me Okada and Tanahashi in a Tokyo Dome match, and I know what I'm getting, and I will be A-okay watching those guys kick the shit out of each other for 35 plus minutes.
Right. No, I'm with. I thought this match was awesome. Again, they got me on so many of the near falls. I thought Ibushi was gonna get it. Like there were moments, like you said, logically he had no chance. But when they can sell you on the logic not making sense, that's when you know it's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Big fan of that one. That is night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. Night 2, the following night, same place, Tokyo Dome. Pre-show match for the never open-weight 6-man tag titles. The Most Violent Players, Togi Matsukabe and Toru Yano, and their tag team partner, Ryusuke Taguchi. They're the 6-man tag champs. They are not anymore. They dropped the belts to Los Incredinobles de Japón of Evil, Shingo, and Bushi. Other teams in that match included Chaos, which was Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Robbie Eagles, who defected from Bullet Club and joined Chaos. Suzuki-gun of Taichi, El Desperado, and Kanemaru, and Bullet Club of Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens. We talked about this a little bit in our chat. I'll let you hit on it here. The fact that Evil and Shingo and, a couple other guys, Ishii, Yoshihashi, even Taichi to an extent because of how he was pushed early in 2019. The fact that those guys don't have meaningful matches on either night of Wrestle Kingdom was very surprising to me. And I know you said it was super surprising to you as well. I don't know why they weren't given a bigger, I don't know if the right word is stage, but I just feel like they were just kind of, they were just kind of like, meh, they're here.
Yeah, no, and exactly like I said to you, like those guys in particular. I mean, maybe it's because I'm definitely a fan of Evil and Shingo. Yes, I've become a fan of Taichi because, like you said, he had an amazing year last year. He all of a sudden he literally went from sucking to being really good in the ring, like overnight.
Yes,
I felt like.
Yes,
and I respect it honestly. Like he still looked like a rejected Tekken character, but otherwise, I'm gonna give you props when you deserve it, right? So. I don't get why you have 2 nights worth of big shows, and you even have you have Juice and John Moxley both getting 2 big matches, and you have these other guys who, honestly, after the year that they've had, I mean, it's like if after the year that we've been watching, that Daniel Bryan ends up on the pre-show of WrestleMania. That would kind of suck. So
yeah, definitely suck.
We wouldn't let WWE get away with that, so I'm not going to let New Japan get away with that without at least saying that was disappointing as a fan.
Yeah, that was definitely disappointing. The lead-off match of the second night main show, it was Farewell. Goodbye, Jushin Thunder Liger. Liger and Naoki Sano, they were defeated by Ryu Lee, the former Dragon Lee, and Hiromu Takahashi. Takahashi hits Liger with Time Bomb. And it was goodbye. And it was all 14 minutes or all 12 minutes and 16 seconds of that match. I don't know if there was a dry eye in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah. That's, you can't even judge it as a wrestling match. It's just so much emotion.
Yeah. Like I said, it was goodbye to Liger-san. We talked about Liger last week. I'm not going to go into a Liger rant because, I could be here for days. So, farewell, Liger-san. Let's move on. Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. The Bullet Club team of Tajiri Ishimori and El Phantasmo, the champions. They dropped the titles back to Roppongi 3K. Sho and Yo with Rocky Romero. Rocky coming out with like the fire extinguisher launcher was like probably the coolest part of this entire match.
Yeah. I wanted to like it so much more because I really do like Sho and Yo, but
we agreed.
I can't stand El Phantasmo, so that took away from it a lot for me. And honestly, I was at least slightly bothered by one of the two. I think it was Yo pulling the cup out of his tights and then like putting it in his mouth. That was just weird.
And that's coming from a gay guy, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
I wasn't. That just came off really weird.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense to wear the cup because Bullet Club's known for low blows and all that.
No, I mean, it was a clever spot, but just like don't maybe put it in your mouth afterwards. It's not a mouth guard.
Yes, yeah.
Balls guard.
I'm with Joe on this one. Definitely not a big fan of cup in mouth.
I like other people's balls. I don't like my own. Like,
oh my god!
All right, and we're transitioning to the British Heavyweight Championship match. 12 minutes 32 seconds. Zack Sabre Jr. retains over Sonata. Okay. My only beef, I loved the match. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was great for the 12 minutes that it was there. Why is the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship being defended at the Tokyo Dome whenever we have guys like Evil and them that aren't even on like the main show?
I don't even have a problem with that. I think the real fault was having the U.S. title on both nights.
No.
Like,
we're gonna get. We'll get there.
The title's been defended before. It's almost at this point, New Japan is almost like WCW, where there's like 40 million titles. So
they're gonna merge them all together, and we're gonna have a new J Crown.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Let's go.
Reggie 8 belts.
Okay. So Joe brought it up. We'll talk about it right now. John Moxley over Juice Robinson retains the IWGP United States title. 12 minutes, 48 seconds. Time-wise, it wasn't that bad. It made sense. They got it in, they got it out. But if Juice Robinson wins, he's juicy 2 belts before we have a winner of the double gold dash.
Yeah, and honestly, too, like, this was a weird feud to decide, like, needed to be followed up 5 months after, like, anything really happened.
I mean, if you wanted to pick it back up as a feud again, like, have those guys, like, do something at New Year's Dash.
Right. Well, honestly, like the night before, we had all those, like, multi-man matches to fit a bunch of guys in. Like, this should have been that. Like, these two should have just been in a multi-man match, like a 4-on-4 or something. Or, I mean, look, I get it. Moxley's kind of a huge star, and he flew all the way over there. If you want to have him in a one-on-one match both nights, I mean, put him against Evil or put him against Shingo or something like that. Like, Juice did not... I mean, I like Juice. I feel bad saying this, but, like, of the two of them, Juice really didn't deserve to be in 2 matches, like 2 big matches on both shows.
Yeah, I like Juice too, but I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
And we also knew that there was a 0% chance that we were going to get Juicy 2 belts. So,
right.
Let's just move on from there. Never Openweight Championship. Kenta is the champion. He gets defeated by Hiroki Goto. We've talked about Goto, me and Joe have, about how he was like 0 for 8 in IWGP Heavyweight Championship matches. And he hadn't had a really great record at the Tokyo Dome. But he regains the IWGP Never Openweight Championship. Good on Kenta that he lost it after turning on Shibata. Bastard.
Yes.
How dare you turn on a legend like Shibata?
I agree. This was a good match. It really was. It was pretty entertaining. But yeah, like, as a fan, like, kind of felt good watching Kenta lose.
Yeah. 16 minutes, 12 seconds. It was nice to see Kenta lose the title there. So, yeah, big fan of that. In the consolation match, Jay White over Kota Ibushi, 24 minutes, 58 seconds. Now, again, we talked about it. This was a chance where you knew Kota wasn't gonna win the title.
Right.
He definitely wasn't going to come out of night 2 with both titles. So he had a chance to salvage his weekend. And I feel like it was more, let's get over Jay White.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I like that. I think that Jay White needed it a little bit more. I think Kota still looks fine. And his performances made him look like the star that they've been wanting to make him look like. I think Jay White needed to win more, and I think that was the right call in my opinion.
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't the right call. I'm saying there was a chance where they could have made Ibushi still super, super relevant. And I'm not saying they missed. I'm not saying they missed. I'm not saying they missed. It's just their route may take a little bit longer to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, I don't know.
There may be a speed bump along the way.
The performances that he put on in those two matches, I think, are enough to solidify him. I think it's okay that he lost that one. I think Jay White needed it more.
Well, especially being the leader of Bullet Club.
Yes, exactly.
Chris Jericho over Hiroshi Tanahashi via submission. If Tanahashi would have won this match, he would have received an AEW World Title match. Post-match, Jericho said in interviews that he would not be opposed to defending against guys from New Japan in the future, and that he likes the idea of defending the title against those guys. Now, we know that there's been some bridges that will probably need to be mended before that occurs.
Yes.
I know that the people with New Japan were not happy with Cody and the Bucks and them leaving the way that they did, especially Kenny. It's come to the light that, they don't feel like they did anything wrong. And I mean, if they're not on exclusive contracts, if they want to start their own company, I feel like they have that right. Yeah,
I agree with you.
I think it's a lot of the old school Japanese mentality of, you did us wrong. And I don't think they did anybody wrong. So I just don't think they need to, quote, apologize.
Right.
But I would have loved to see Jericho defend those titles against a Naito or a Jay White or somebody like that.
I think it'll still happen one day.
I do too. One day. I don't know if it'll be Chris Jericho defending the title. It may be Jon Moxley after he wins the belt.
True. Fair.
He may come out as Johnny Two Belts. There's gonna be guys walking around with 18 titles in New Japan, and all I can think about is draggy 8 belts.
Draggy 8 belts.
In the main event, Double Gold Dash is completed. The IWGP Intercontinental Champion Tetsuya Naito versus the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada. 35 minutes, 37 seconds. Naito walks out with both belts. I feel like this was the right move.
Yes.
100%.
This redeemed Naito's last 3 years worth of not being treated and getting the chance to be the guy, and
I agree.
And I think he's fine. I think he's ready for it. Like I said, I've not been the hugest Naito fan, but those matches he had this weekend sold me. And like I said to you when I was watching this match, and I texted you, I think one of the things that was interesting to me about this one is the guys came out and they went straight to some people will complain about a match and be like, oh, it never left second gear and stuff like that. These guys went into third gear in the first 30 seconds and just never stopped. And sometimes that would feel like too much and would probably be a complaint. But given the importance of what was going on here, they fought like two people that were trying to make history. And I think that's important. If this was the Super Bowl, no team goes out in the Super Bowl and plays it safe in the first quarter. They try to put 21 points up in the first quarter. And that's what it felt like these guys were doing. They were trying to score those touchdowns from the very beginning, as opposed to doing the feeling out and all of that we normally get, especially with Japanese matches like that. So I appreciated that personally from this one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those guys went out there and went guns blazing. There was nothing held back, nothing that was left to the imagination. I told you that ripcord spinning Rainmaker that Okada hit was absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
He turned Naito inside out, and I thought he killed him. It wasn't one of those where I was like, oh, wow, cool, he hit him with this really cool move. I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
That match, those guys, I'd be surprised if they left their bed for, the next, week.
Yeah, seriously.
Naito counters Rainmaker into Destino for a near fall. Naito tries it. Okada tries to hit the pile, the tombstone. Okada hits Stardust Press, the top rope move. I thought he was going to crash and burn on that, not going to lie to you. So the fact that he hit that was like an awesome thing. He hits Destino, he wins the belt, gets the microphones, is going to send everybody home happy, and then that son of a bitch comes out. Motherfucking Kenta.
Which I think is interesting because he's part of the Bullet Club, but he has not been positioned as the guy fighting for the world title, and I am assuming that would be the title he's going to challenge for, or both. I guess maybe they'll be defended as like a crown, like, you know.
Yeah, I want to say I personally feel like they should be defended, at least
for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's just me. So Kenta comes out, jumps Naito, hits the Shibata pose. At this point, I was like, hell yeah, here comes fucking Shibata. He's gonna kick this guy's ass, and Shibata doesn't show up.
No, I think you gotta let go of the Shibata.
Damn it. So that kind of tilted me. I honestly don't hate the fact that Kenta's the next challenger. Let me preface that.
I like it.
I think it works perfect. It's a new face. It's a new heel. It's someone that he can build it and have a potential really good story. But Naito didn't get to have that moment ever in the Tokyo Dome. So him winning the titles and being the first ever double champion, I think I would have liked to see him actually be able to finish his celebration.
Yes.
And have Kenta do something the next day at New Year's Dash.
Yeah.
More than going the route that they did.
Well, yeah, because too, like, this wasn't just a normal title change. This was being billed as so historic and stuff. And, like, you know, normally after a title match, you get the next challenger coming out and stuff. But this shouldn't have been normally. They should have just saved that for New Year's Dash. That's my opinion as well. Yeah,
it was just one of those where it's like the opportunity was definitely there to just leave that as a New Year's Dash thing. But they made that decision. I'm not going to say it was a bad decision. I love the way that it's going. Real quick, the card for New Beginnings in Okada, February 9th, has been announced. Tenkoji, Yuji Nagata, and Manabu Nakakashi will take on Taguchi Japan, which is Homana, Mankabi, Hinaru, and Taguchi. Roppongi 3K of Sho and Yo will defend the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles against Kanemaru and Desperado, who beat them at New Year's Dash. Spoiler for you. There was a four-way junior match. They hit the mist in one of Roppongi 3K's face. Got the pinfall there.
No more New Year's Dash spoilers.
I'll try my best.
Okay.
8-man tag match. Kota Ibushi and Taguchi Japan, the team of Hiroshi Tanahashi, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson. They're going to take on the Bullet Club squadron of Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, and the Guerrillas of Destiny. In a tag match, the Chaos faction, represented by Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay, they'll take on Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. Let's see. Jay White will take on Sonata.
Ooh.
That'll be a good match. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi will take on the former Dragon Lee. Big fan of that match.
Sense.
A match that I feel is going to be an absolute war. I don't feel like this match should have any rules. For the IWGP United States Championship, Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki. That match is going to be a banger.
Yeah, it really is. Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
And you asked about it. It's been made official for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Tetsuya Naito versus Kenta. Both titles will be on the line. Super pumped about that. There's a spoiler that I want to talk to you about, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'll let you watch New Year's Dash, and you can talk to me about it.
Okay.
It's what's going to build up to the IWGP tag titles. That's my time. I know we went super far over. Yeah. Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay.
MVPs?
Yeah, MVP time. I guess I'll go first since I haven't spoken in about like half an hour.
Well, that's your fault.
Huh?
That's your fault. You could have chimed in.
No, it's all right. No, it's all right. I have the match.
Links.
No, I again playoff football.
He didn't watch it. He watched the Heat game.
Playoff football.
He watched the Heat game.
I did. Playoff football and Heat Knicks.
Yeah. Heat Knicks. Nobody gives a shit about the Knicks.
Yeah, we fucking lost tonight. Fuck
MVP. Let's go. Clock.
Okay. MVP this week for me. Actually, I'm gonna tell you, Excalibur from AEW. He's officially the voice of AEW. Like, I know Shivani's back, and Jim Ross obviously and all that, but it's amazing how Excalibur's gotten himself at a point now where he's like the strongest voice of the three now.
He hit him with a bicycle.
Yeah. What did Brandy call him on the show? Exhibit? Fucking stupid. She's an idiot. But yeah, I'm really impressed too because I wasn't a fan of his initially out the gate, and then I don't know, like all of a sudden now, like the last month or so, he's been on a roll. Like it's great. He's just great, and he's become the voice of AEW now.
He's one of those like hidden secrets from the indie scene because he's been like announcing for PWG for like a decade,
right?
And those of us that have been listening to him there have known that he was probably one of the best announcers around. So it's awesome seeing him being recognized as such on by a more general public.
Yeah. So
he hit him with a bicycle.
So my MVP this week is the really awesome ponytail on the back of Tanahashi's head. Hiroshi Tanahashi, you continue to be a hair god, and we all look up to you.
Michael?
My MVP is Tetsuya.
Wait, say it again? You cut out. Say it again. You cut out a little bit.
My MVP is Naito.
Hell yeah.
Naito-san.
Oh.
First Double Dash champion. Okay, before we go, breaking news to the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast fans. I came up with this infinite wisdom that I was going to do a draft and get you guys to do it with me as part of my topic for this week. You guys have talked me out of it. I'm glad you did. We're going to do the first ever Take 3 wrestling draft. North American talent only. We're going to do 20-man rosters, which will be drafted on a special edition of our show, which will also go up on my YouTube page, Fat Kid Certified SC, where there will be video to us drafting live. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll go over the rules next week since we've already run longer than we normally do. We have some other stuff that we want to discuss about the rules. Draft order will be determined on next week's show live so that we can start working our war rooms and trying to come up with the best 20-person roster. Men, women are both eligible. I'll put the final rosters up on the Twitter machine, and we'll let you guys vote who has the better roster for a fun little debate.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, it has to be active wrestlers, of course, right? Only.
Really?
Yes, only.
I can't draft Papa Shango?
I mean, honestly, if you guys didn't do it, at number my 23rd was always going to be Jushin Thunder Liger. So, I mean,
I was going to draft Nails.
You're the worst.
Not if I do first.
Anyway, folks. So I guess till next week, for Mike and Joe. Anyone plug before you go?
Go watch New Japan, Naito-san.
Joe, anyone plug?
Joey Gladstone forever. Cut it out.
Huh? And you guys, the podcast coming soon.
Yes. Hopefully you're going to record. We'll see. XFL starts on the 8th. I'm hoping to put a show up the week before kickoff, which will be basically that Super Bowl Sunday week.
There's another one of the things we can do when I'm there in person.
Excellent. I like it.
And that's very true. And of course, subscribe to the Wrestling Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, all that. All right, guys. See you guys next week, as always.
Later.
You got it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.